Okay, it's Clarksburg Selectmen meeting for September 27th at 3 p.m. We will open the meeting at 3 p.m. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, meeting minutes, we don't have any here, do we?
The addendum.
Huh?
Cemetery.
Oh. All
They're just amended, that's all.
right, all right. From September 26th, I think I looked at.
I've done another part about the DPW's vacation time. I have to go back and rewatch the video.
Okay. All right. Okay, yeah. Looks like things might dry up a little bit this week.
Oh, it's supposed to get 80 over the weekend.
Okay, we'll make a motion, Jeff, I guess.
Yeah, make a motion to accept the minutes from, what was it, I have to look at the date,
26.
from July 26, 23, as written.
Let's grab this here.
For the second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then we, the warrants, we'll do that after the time. Okay, so we're going to go right up to the Crossroad Bridge. Carol, want me to talk? You want to?
Yeah, you can start off and I can add if
All right.
need be.
As we know, the Crossroad Bridge has been one lane for 6 years, and it was put on the tip list, which could be up to 5 more years. But we had a meeting in Mass Highway, came up with the designer, and Carl, Kyle, myself, Dan, Cleve, the Conservation Commission, we were all there discussing what their plans are, and they won't give a timeline, but the good news is we're finally looking at it. Usually it takes a year to design things and to go through the issues. There are issues with the power lines go diagonally over the bridge, and then regular power lines go parallel to it, they need to get cranes and things in there. So there's some issues that they need to look at. And the only advice that we had, or they're asking what our thoughts were, was if they could make a couple feet wider so that people can walk or possibly ride a bike in a breakdown lane, not an actual sidewalk or anything. But it'd be nice because it's always a stickling point with people walking and cars going through. So the good news is they're looking at it. It still may be a couple of years before it gets done, but at least the movement.
Yeah, and they're going to keep us informed of anything we need to do, like rights of way and things of that nature. So this is a very positive development.
Yep. Okay, they also mentioned, which goes through our legislatures, that we would like to dedicate it to Bill Evans Memorial Bridge. So when the time comes, we will pursue that. All right, next is review or approve the sale of cemetery lot, the Richard Lefebvre, lot number 49, section D1.
So we need to have a motion approval of that.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion on that.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of a cemetery lot to Richard Lefebvre, Lot 49, Section D1 as written. Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next on the list is MVP and flood hazard prevention. We have a meeting in progress. You go ahead, Carl.
So we had a meeting at the seniors, at the community center, Old Habits Die Hard. And we met with a representative of Trout Unlimited, who were also instrumental in removing the dam. And obviously during the recent storms, especially the one on July the 10th, we had significant embankment erosion behind the condominium complex and Scott Wood's parcel there. I think we lost something to the effect of 4 feet deep, 8 feet tall, 55 feet wide, and it just went into the drink. And how are we going to armor that embankment to minimize and/or eliminate it? And there's a number of options that we had discussed at length. Some of them are harder to permit than others. And so there's a couple of scenarios that they went over, building some fingers to slow the river down and to hopefully push it toward its natural, or its former natural course, into more toward the center where that island has developed since the dam was taken out in 2011. And so it was a positive meeting. And it's going to probably be a multi-year effort in trying some of the easier fixes first, and also then try to get the permitting from DEP to allow for that. And then there were some rather intrusive, such as dredging and things like that, which would be incredibly hard to permit. And then that would involve getting the Army Corps of Engineers involved, which then, would put the timeline significantly further out. And what's happening is that the center of the river is moving westward toward the condominiums. If folks remember, when we had Tropical Storm Irene, we lost a significant portion of the Route 8 River Road into the river, and so the state armored their side of the river, but the net effect of it is that the weak side of the river, which is where our downtown is basically, the river has been slowly migrating westward, and a lot of the debris and the rocks and the silt and the stuff that came down the river has planted itself into the center of where the center used to be. So I'm cautiously optimistic that several efforts, I don't think one is going to do it all, but we would be remiss not to try. So we're going to start slowly. We are in favor of the assistance that Trout Unlimited has offered us, the technical experience and guidance, as well as the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission through Courtney Morehouse. And this is one of the areas that we had identified in our hazard mitigation plan, as well as the municipal vulnerability program that the town has been in for a number of years now. And we're starting to see some benefit and some results from those efforts that have taken quite some time. And this is not the only area, this is not the only project that the MVP is addressing. We did get some funding, I think it's something to the effect of $215,000 to address flooding issues up near the Peter Cook Memorial Field. So we're trying to address these as quickly and as timely as we can. Obviously, we have no money, so the funding sources are incredibly important. But I think that I'm more optimistic than I've been in a long time.
Yeah, and further on, there's several options of things they can and cannot do, and some, one was even like the bank that's eroded away to possibly slope it down, but they would need to talk to landowners and people like that, but they're gonna look at all that and try to come up with some good scenarios. There's no perfect solution, of course, but we gotta somehow get that river to go down to the center. So the good news that they're looking at it, and they said they would help us do something, so that's good. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, next is the Mass Works grant for Middle Road and the upcoming road closures.
So, okay, so folks have probably been aware, we've had intermittent road closures recently as the first part of the rehabbing of the northern section of Middle Road. And what we're aiming to do is Middle Road from where it meets Route 8 to Wood Road. So the first and foremost, and we had to fund this in a different way through Chapter 90 versus the Mass Works grant, that culvert has been in. That was an incredibly expensive single culvert and something to the effect of $128,000. That's in. And we did that through Chapter 90 because the Mass Works grant otherwise wouldn't have been enough to cover the rest of the project. So that is complete, and so I also, we identified all of the homeowners on Middle Road, Oregon Road, Daisy Lane, Wood Road, MacArthur Drive, Musterfield Heights, and they all got, every one of them got a letter from the town that there will be periodic road closures, and it's not going to be all the time, and it's not going to always be a complete closure, but there is that possibility. So in the letter there said also to be mindful to check with the town's website. As we're given information, we will post it. So now the Peckham Corporation is going to start with culverts, and they're going to be starting from the Wood Road area and work north. So again, just be mindful that, and watch the signage also. We will have it signed so that, we're going to try to make this as painless as possible. And I understand that it's not going to be, without some necessary patience on behalf of a lot of people, especially I understand the folks that live there. And it may be an inconvenience. We should have this wrapped up by the end of May. They're going to work as late as they possibly can with the weather that we have, if it ever stops raining, to accomplish as many of the culverts and the prep work. Then the paving component that won't take place until next spring. But I'm pleased to see that, we're underway. We've had some challenges on that, and I think that the folks in town will be pleased with the end product when it's done and delivered.
Yeah, they're having, I went down today, and Peckham was there today setting up signs and looking at all the culvert areas, so they have started, which is a good thing. The Middle Road needs a lot of work for sure. Okay, at this point, we're going to go into an executive session for a legal issue, so
Okay.
we'll
We need a roll call for that.
Yeah, but did we close this meeting out or?
We're going to go into executive session, need a roll call vote. We will not be coming back into session once we come out of executive session, so
Okay.
no decisions are going to be announced or anything like that.
Okay,
It's more informational at this point.
okay,
All set?
all set.